Hello, Virgo. I am here to provide you with your September general reading. I want to say happy birthday to you guys as well. We're coming into your season. It's your time. And I see a lot of beauty in this reading. Even though you only see 6 cards, it really does tell me a lot about where many of you are. I see that many of you have graduated to a place where you know how to love others exponentially. And I also see that some of you are tired of fighting, about certain issues, situations, and things in your life. And you are approaching it with a logical, you're approaching those situations with a logical stance, okay? I also see that you've pulled the Ace of Cups, which is the beginning of love. And you can plant this either with yourself or with someone else. You can plant it wherever you want. As long as you take care of it, it will grow and it will manifest. You pulled the Death card, which we all know in tarot means life follows directly after death. We know that. And then we also pulled Justice, which tells me that a lot of you are focused on what's fair. Okay? So I see a lot of positive aspects that are going on within you. So many of you should be seeing a lot of positive things going on externally. For those of you who are not seeing positive things externally, what I'm seeing then is that you may possibly be loving people more than you're loving yourself, okay? And when that happens, okay, we become more unfamiliar with ourselves and more familiar with other people, okay? And other people come with baggage, all right? Love is a very fulfilling emotion that is necessary in life. It makes us feel very fulfilled. It's necessary, and we need it to survive emotionally. Okay? But a lot of you Virgo are in relationships where you're just tired of fighting about certain things, whatever they may be. And when you come at it with a logical approach, that is the way that you're supposed to do it. However, sometimes when we come at it with this type of logical approach, just by what I'm feeling, okay, by looking at these 6 cards, sometimes we can impose rules in future relationships that will only sabotage them rather than support their growth, okay? So be aware of that. I see that many of you Virgo know how to love other people a lot more than you're loving yourself, which is why you've been given this Ace of Cups so that you can give it to yourself. When you give this cup of love to yourself, it will grow just as big and strong as this King of Cups that you have for others. According to the Dalai Lama, love is the absence of judgment. It's knowing how to love people despite their ways, despite whatever crap they may bring to the table, right? However, Spirit is saying, you know what? There are some things that need to come about that must die in order for something to live. Okay? Something that is going to result in what's fair to you. Okay? Some of you are just flat out tired of certain things in relationships, with other people. Some of you are just like, I just want a happy family. Why am I having to, make all these sacrifices to try to neutralize everything that's going on in my life? Why am I having to respond positively all the time to people's negativity? That's what I'm sensing. I feel like some of you are like, dude, I'm tired of this. Like, I can do without this. And guess what? That's your intuition letting you know, yes, you can. You definitely can do without this. And in the moment, when you make your choice to let whatever it is that needs to go, it's going to feel like a sacrifice. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a sacrifice. It's a necessity. It's a necessity for your happy family. I feel as though some of you may be in a you may be in a family and your partner is not being fair. I don't have to do reversals to know what I'm seeing here. Some of you are in some unfair relationships. Otherwise, this card wouldn't have popped up, letting me know that you're tired of fighting about certain situations in your relationship. You must understand the concept of energy and how other people's energy, you're either going to respond positively or negatively to it. So if the person that you're with is responding negatively toward whatever it is, right? And then you respond negatively to whatever it is. Now, what do we have? We have a negative plus a negative, which equals a negative, right? But if you respond positively to what this person is doing, it will neutralize the situation. If you want to salvage this relationship, if you feel that this relationship is salvageable, okay? Even though Spirit is clearly advising that for some of you, some relationships have to come to an end. Rather it be with a friend or whomever. But right now, it looks like we're talking about family. There's some things going on in it that aren't fair. You're putting in way too much sacrifice. It's making you tired. And it's the love that you have for this person that has created this double-edged sword, right? I know how to love this person despite their issues, their problems, whatever. But, how is it serving me in any way, shape, or form, or contributing to my growth in any way at all? And some of you are sacrificing your own growth to be in this relationship, which is why Spirit is advising that it die. And that's a difficult thing, and I get it. Some choices that we have to make in life are not easy. But I tell you, if you plant a seed today, come spring, you're going to have an abundance of what you planted. Sometimes you have to plant the seed of death in relationships that are not serving you, that are requiring things of you that are just not fair. And instead of pouring all of your love into this relationship and trying to salvage it, when you have been in a pivotal place with this person forever, the number 5 is a pivotal number. That means the number of change. And if you notice, death is right under. Change. Death means change. You're now going from an old way of being to a new way of being because you have cleared the clutter. A lot of you need to start loving yourself a lot more than you're able to love others. Some of you got loving others down packed. Do you have loving yourself down packed, Virgo? Because if you do, then that means that you know how to communicate with your higher self to a place where you know exactly which positive response to provide toward whatever negative thing that's going on the outside to create a specific outcome. But if you're unable to do that, that means that you need to use this new Ace of Cups for yourself. The more love that you give yourself and the more time that you spend with yourself, your higher self, your spirit, then the more you're able to manage what's going on the inside of you so that you can manage what's going on the outside of you. Okay? It's not fair to be in unfair situations where you're always required to be the one to make the most sacrifices in the relationship for the happiness of the family. Relationships are partnerships. They're not just this one-sided, let me take care of you, baby, and then I'll just go ahead and, sit at the back of the bus until you decide to give me a drink of water. That's not how relationships are supposed to go. That would be a very unhealthy approach. and wouldn't result in anything except for your own, the feelings of it perpetuates feelings of low self-esteem. It perpetuates feelings of feeling like you cannot do this and you cannot do that and all of this and that. And then what happens? Then we start to create more rules as to how things should be in the future. Then you go into a future relationship with all the baggage associated with the last relationship. So those of you who are in unhealthy relationships and know it, exit stage left. Because you don't know how much happier your children may be because you're now happy. See, because if all of this, I'm tired of fighting energy, is in the household, you think your kids can't pick up on that? And even if some of you don't have kids, it still impacts you. It still impacts you negatively. Then you have to do all this destructuring in your own mind to create a positive outcome. Now, a lot of you are walking into new beginnings. A lot of you can taste them because a lot of you really did stage left in some of these unfair relationships. All of these aces, I'm telling you, are just, the universe giving you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And for those of you who are unable to identify them, I really recommend that you get a private reading. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just continue to look at the general readings that I provide. Look at others as well. And be dedicated to yourself to a point where you can identify these new things that are being offered to you. Take them. If you can see, both of these look like, out of the clouds, the universe is handing you something huge. Handing you a new beginning with regards to the way your mind works. A new beginning with regards to the way that you love yourself. So that your external factors are a reflection of your new way of being. Because you let a lot of stuff die that didn't belong. And now here come all these new things. Just like that. Some of you have some minor concerns that right now, even though you may deem them important, you need to walk away from those minor concerns, especially with this new full moon. For the next 3 days, meaning the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, those are the 3 days where the vibration is very ripe for you to set the intentions of what you would like your future to look like and what you would like your future reality to be. Some of you have some trivial questions, and Spirit is saying walk away from those trivial questions because right now you're playing with the big boys now. Now it's time for you to start asking some real questions, like set your intentions on being able to communicate with your higher self. Because when you're able to do that, then you're able to make specific positive responses to external factors that are negative that will create something specific that you want. But if you're thinking small, walk away from thinking small. And I want you guys to think bigger, okay? Think big with this new full moon. I'm telling you. So some of you now are at a point where you're juggling and you're saying, okay, how do I become less rigid toward change and more flexible? How do I juggle what I'm supposed to be wanting in my life and not wanting in my life? Well, listen to yourself. What are you asking for? Are you asking for all of the things that are going to satisfy your body and the part of you that you identify with the most? Or are you going to start asking some questions that are going to actually make it so that you can actually understand yourself to a T, to the point where you are on a path and you're on a roll and it's a game changer and everything that you want in your life falls in your lap from the sky, literally, like this? For those of you who are saying that can't happen, that's a rule that you just imposed on yourself, and your higher self is going to adhere to all the rules that you've put on yourself. So remember, the more rules that you place on yourself, the more you're going to feel like you can't accomplish certain things because of all those rules. Be more flexible. Get rid of all those rules. Don't throw what you've learned in the past away. You need that, right? That's not what I mean. I hope that I'm being specific in what I'm saying. Virgo, take everything that you've learned with you into your future, obviously, right? You need that. That's the whole point of what you've experienced in the past, is to learn so you could take it with you and add another book to your library. And I'm referring to your library as your brain. And that book is something that you have learned, you put on the shelf, you've read it already, you know everything that's in that already, and it's going to help you in your future with regards to your choices. So when it comes to thinking about what you really want in your life, I want you to set your intentions tonight with this full moon, Virgo, as to what it is that you want. I would be asking questions. I'm just going to give examples and you have to ask these questions and set these intentions as though you already have them. If you want to salvage this relationship and you don't want it to die because you have children together, then what you do is you set your intention on understanding your higher self. Just like me and you are talking, you're going to be able to talk to the part of yourself that you haven't identified with as much as you can the 3D part of you, the part of you that you can identify with the most, the flesh, right? So that you know exactly which positive responses to provide to negative situations so that you can create the exact life that you want to live. So those of you in toxic relationships, exit. If you know that you're in a relationship with somebody that's a dictator, tells you what to do, you don't like it, it's making you miserable, whatever the case, you know what? Stage left. And no, I didn't say it was going to be easy. I just said it's necessary in order for you to grow and understand the concept of being able to create the reality that you want. If the reality that you want comes with $1 million, there's nothing wrong with that. If the reality that you want is to be financially stable, you're supposed to be financially stable. We're all supposed to be financially stable, but you know what gets in the way of stability in every area of our life? We do. We get in the way of that. So, fill this cup up of love, this cup of love for yourself. Start to love yourself just as much as you're able to love others, Virgo. Some of you are tired of what you're going through, in your families, And yes, you are being advised to let certain things die. And just, and there are several ways to do that. Sometimes you don't have to walk away completely. Sometimes you could just emotionally distance yourself from someone who is not serving you, lifting you up in any way, shape, or form. Just emotionally detach. If you're in that type of situation where you can't leave. For those of you who are tired of fighting, don't fight. How about that? Don't fight. Let the other person be who they are, and you focus on who you want to be. For those of you feeling like you're just juggling all the time and always playing this juggle game between what's fair and what's not, you know what I'm saying? Get to know yourself better so that you make brief rules and brief boundaries with regards to how relationships ought to be. But make sure that you allow yourself to consider, have a broader perspective on what is really available to you, which is so much. Virgo, you guys are very intellectual, and I know a lot of you got this. However, it's not offering clarity for some of you because I'm not going into specifics. I'm really talking more generally in terms of how we can change our external factors and what the universe is giving you to start with. A new beginning in work. This could actually be actual work or the way that you work with yourself. This Ace of Cups, I recommend that you plant it for yourself so that it could just radiate from you, and everybody and everything that you attract is just as loving as you are. To close you out, Virgo, you have the power and you have the authority to do whatever it is you want to do in your life. Every outcome that you see is a reflection of what's going on in you within. So you have to go within in order to change your external factors, okay? And a lot of you already know that. You know that you have the power and the authority. Be confident in your power and authority to make the changes that you want to make in your life, regardless of whatever situation you may be in. Remember that. Pull the Emperor, okay? For those of you who are heartbroken behind past relationships and things that you've ended, understand that being heartbroken is a choice. That's a feeling, that it's a choice. Am I going to be heartbroken, or am I going to feel like I've been set free of a relationship that did not serve me? I mean, it's like to do or not to do, to be or not to be. It's up to you, your choices. Everything boils down to choices, and feelings are a choice. They really are. And I know that given that we spend so much time with what we understand the most, which is our feelings and our consciousness, the conscious part of ourself, the part of ourself that we can identify with, we're more familiar with that. We're a little less familiar, or a lot less familiar, with our higher selves. And when that happens, things become imbalanced. And then it allows these feelings. And then when you're feeling heartbroken, then you attract people whose hearts are also broken. And then you guys share a commonality. And then before you know it, you never know. You might get into a relationship with somebody who's just as broken as you are. Now, where do you think that's going to go, Virgo? Don't be confused, okay, either. That's also a choice about where to go, what to do, and how to do it. Set your intentions on saying, you know what, I may not understand today, but you know what, I'm going to understand before the end of this month. Just say it like that. Leave it alone and watch and see. You're going to understand exactly what it is that you need to understand by the end of the month. You spoke it out of your mouth, you set the intention, and guess what's going to happen? Your higher self is going to adhere to what you just said. And then what's going to happen is you're not going to be confused. You're not going to be heartbroken. None of that. You're going to understand how this works so that your life can be exactly what you want it to be, and you don't attract people in your life that have the tendency to break hearts and make you feel confused. Because remember, if you feel heartbroken and confused, you're going to attract that on the outside. This means communication. Spirit is saying communicate with yourself positively, please. Because if you communicate with yourself positively, then you'll know exactly what type of positive response to provide to negative external factors that create something specific. Just like the magnet concept that I gave Pisces. For those of you who have a sun, moon, or rising in Pisces, go watch that video as well. The way that you communicate with yourself has everything to do with what you're going to experience externally in your life. So make sure you speak to yourself fairly. Be fair to yourself. And know that life is a journey. No need for beating yourself up for what you think you've done in the past, right or wrong. Those are learning experiences meant for you to learn. It's a part of the journey. Sometimes it comes with discomfort. Sometimes it comes with lots of joy. But once you get the hang of this, I promise that when you understand that your external factors are a reflection of what's going on inside, once you really understand that concept, you'll be able to control exactly what's going to happen in your life and your external factors. Now, I don't like to use the word control, right? Because it's all that controlling and all the rules that we've imposed on ourselves that make us rigid and less flexible toward change. So I want you to look at this death card, and when you see it, it just means change. Some of you are loving other people a lot more than you're loving yourself. That's why this cup has been offered to you. So take it and start loving yourself just as much as you love others. Because a lot of us have the tendency to love others despite their crap, but we don't want to love ourselves despite our crap. Well, let's sift through our own crap and really listen to ourselves and really work on what we need to keep about ourselves and what we need to throw away. Set the intention tonight with this full moon on August 23rd that you will be able to identify these things so that you now know how to navigate through life in such a way so where everything that's going on within you, you know that it's going to be a reflection of what you experience. So if what's going on within you is positive and you love yourself, you're going to attract people who love you. If you hate yourself, then you're going to attract people who hate you and do things that reflect hateful things. So if this resonated with any of you Virgo, please, I ask that you hit like and subscribe and leave your comments. A lot of you are at a place where you're just contemplating, why things are not how you want them to be. Well, I just explained why. And if some of you need more guidance, as I am a spiritual guidance teacher, please come and get your private readings. Come get your private readings so we could talk about your specific situation and so that you could see exactly what it is you're doing that's producing that external factor that you're contending with. So, Virgo, I have no doubts in your abilities. You guys are one of the most intellectually inclined zodiacs, period. We all know that. And I have all the faith in the world in you guys and your ability to understand what's been explained in this reading. So, happy birthday to those of you who are having birthdays coming up very soon. Enjoy. Allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself to have fun. Allow yourself to be glad that you're living you've lived another year. Another year of growth you got to experience. Be glad. You have no reason to be sad, I promise. And when you understand that, it's going to be a game changer for you. Okay? Start loving yourself just as much as you love others. And watch and see what happens. Namaste.